your likes again, that fought and died for your wee bit hill and glen and stood against him. Proud Edward's army and sent him homeward to think again. Those days are past now, and in the past they must remain. But we will still rise now and be the nation again that stood against him. Proud Edward's army and sent him homeward to think again.
Slightly nervous anthem, and I guess this sums up these games. You've got to come to places like Canada,
standing and
you've got to get over the conditions. It's an artificial pitch, 10, 12,000 people, now the Canadian anthem.
Canada, our home and native land, true patient love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, this might not be the strongest Canadian team, but it's a test for Scotland. And the first game of 3 on the road this summer. The venue, the Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, seating capacity 56,000. Also the venue for sprinter Alan Wells to win 2 gold medals in the 1978 Commonwealth Games. Well, there's the Scotland team. Del, Brown and Bergen, efficient front row. Toulis and Gilchrist, ball carriers. Bradbury, Denton, Ritchie on his first cap. As James Lang is in the centre with Harris, who gets reprieve. And as we mentioned before, Hastings on the bench will surely come onto the pitch. And that is young Jamie Ritchie in the middle of the picture. Chris, the boys were saying it's going to be a difficult game. Scotland need their pattern.
Yeah, they need to, some of these players won't have played for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. Obviously, you're going straight into international rugby without a warm-up as well. They're always hard. The Canadians will be physical. They'll look to start well. They've slipped down to 21st in the world, the Canadians, but they will bring a physical edge. Well, it's the basics that have to be done properly early on for Scotland to find their feet and hopefully get off to a winning start.
Well, that's Blair Kinghorn, fullback, 6'5", winning his 3rd cap. He's got that 1 try against Ireland, sends the ball down into the Canadian 22. The Scots quickly up. It's going to be a familiar type of pitch. And diminutive scrum half Phil Mack with that kick up to the right wing. Knocked on by Jones. Canadians have the ball. It's going to be difficult. I mean, Chris, we can beat around the bush, but not a big crowd. We're expecting bad weather, and it's going to be a tricky game to win.
It is. I mean, I've hinted at that already. That starting, from fresh after a 3 or 4 week break, 5-week break for some of the players in international rugby is difficult. There are some experienced campaigners as well. The man with the ball in hand, Phil Mack, winning his 50th cap. He's been around for a long time. Good sevens player as well. And his Hicks box kick that's put Scotland under pressure initially. He'll direct his pack around the field pretty well. They will bring a physical edge, and they want a free kick for an early engagement at the scrum. They're away already.
Quickly taken by the Canadians, knocked long by O'Leary, the number 10. Back goes Jones, just outside his 22, gives it to Kinghorn. Kinghorn makes a couple of voices and up to the other end of the pitch. And this is Shane O'Leary. His mum was born in Canada, played for Connaught, and it'll be a line-out.
Good, sensible play by Blair Kinghorn. There's a poor kick, wasn't it, by Shane O'Leary, and resisting the temptation to run, to set something sparkling early on when it wasn't on. Blair Kinghorn kicked long, Canada kick out, and it gives Scotland the first opportunity.
Taken by Scotland, and that's a good driving maul. Hidalgo Klein just ushers them forward. This is the grind they'll want. Nearly 2 minutes gone. The blue jerseys ploughing up the pitch. Denton lends support. You've got Barkwell, their little hooker from Canada, trying to defend it. Out along the back division, goes deep into Jones. Jones to Kinghorn. Kinghorn looks up, has McGuigan, and it comes down. It's the ruck. Klein into midfield, taken up by Ritchie. First touch on his first cap. Ball comes back loosely, this time to Tulis. Tulis moving forward sweetly through the phases. Denton looks up, Denton takes. Denton is, he's got an advantage because it's going to be a penalty to Scotland. And Hidalgo Klein plays on, taken on by Brown. Brown bludgeons through, makes 2, 3, 4 metres. Ever closer. Scotland still attacking down that right-hand side. Through the gap goes Ritchie. Is it Ritchie? No, it's the centre on his first cap. Lang back for the penalty. Good play by Scotland.
Yeah, it's exactly one. A good drive, good throw, good drive. As Ilonicki, the Canadian tight head that was offside underneath the post, but Scotland had a lot of possession there, a good drive to start with, and then big ball carries. Alarmingly for Canada, their defence is very narrow, it's very tight, but Scotland still made yards. Fraser Brown asking referee for some stability. Fraser Brown has a big responsibility, one of the vice captains, one of the more experienced players in the squad, but the Canadians were on their feet, they're defending well, they were narrow, but they were still conceding yardage to the big ball carriers from Scotland.
Quite a few cameos this evening. We'll be watching James Lang at centre. That was his first cap and his first carry. He was a Wimbledon ball boy and very close to scoring on his first touch. And this is Hidalgo Klein. Nearly 4 minutes gone at Edmonton. Left-footed, as you said, he would be the kicker. 3-0 to Scotland.
Yeah, simple kick for a man of Sam Hidalgo Klein's quality, but that's comforting for Scotland. Go back to the long clearance kick from Blair Kinghorn, the quality execution of the line-out throw, the catch, the drive, and then some real clear, direct running, putting Canada under pressure. Good start from Scotland, 3 points up in the opening 5 minutes.
Well, this is Canada's third match against a Tier 1 side since the last World Cup. The last two came in 2016 against Italy and Ireland. They lost both. Scoreline against Italy, 18-20. Ireland swamped them, 21-52. The Canadians swamping the Scots, but they keep the ball. Denton with that shock of long blonde hair. Canada again offside at the breakdown.
You have to wrap up bind. 7 red. No unbinding. 7 red.
Pretty clear from the referee, Kubo. No bind. And
get your bind, please.
It was a wonderfully well taken kick from James Lang, and he did really well to present the ball under a big counter ruck from the Canadians. It just shows you the quality these guys have. His first cap, first catch, under high ball, then under the pressure, presents well and allows Scotland to clear the lines.
Scotland again, very quick line-outs from the Six Nations. Tulis, old ex-volleyball player at age group level in Australia where he grew up, and the Scots again grinding out. And I think we talked about this, the lads said that they would take it to the Canadian pack. High, long, up to this big winger Hassler. Oh, he's thumped back, what a tackle. The Canadians have. Trucked up by Luke Campbell. Campbell, the number 8, caught in possession. Mack is there, gives it back this time to O'Leary. O'Leary kicks long and straight into touch. Another loose kick.
Yeah, same again by Shane O'Leary. But interesting, John Barclay said before the game that because Scotland are playing away from home, there's 1 or 2 newer faces. Gregor Townsend might opt to play a little less rugby early on. They've been very, very structured, very disciplined, good line-out drives, good accurate kicking, forcing the mistake from Canada, and O'Leary kicked that one straight out. I think we'll see another drive here. Scotland have had a lot of success there so far.
Taken by Denton. Hidalgo Klein looks nonchalantly on. Scotland then just on the Canadian 22, grinding forward. And again, this is camera angles are not quite used to. Down this side comes Hidalgo Klein, chips it through, and Hidalgo Klein is just over the line, and that was a close one.
Knocked on.
Just knocked on.
It's going to be option.
I think it was Sam Hidalgo Klein trying to get in the end of Rory Jackson's grubber kick. It was quite funny because there was such a short attacking blindside. Obviously, Scotland again got a lot of success from the drive, and as the kind of went down the short side, the defence sat off and allowed Rory Jackson to take the ball to the line, almost giving too much time to decide. And because the defence didn't commit, Rory Jackson puts that delightful grubber kick through, and Sam Hidalgo Klein's unlucky, under pressure from Matt Heaton, the open side, got back to stop the try.
Okay, good balance, boys. Thank you. Good balance.
Canadian scrum, this will be a good test. Front row, Barker, Barkwell and Ilnicki. 125 kgs, and that's Barker. You're watching this loose head up against Del Brandenburgen. Scotland with the pressure, Canadian scrum under pressure. Mack takes it, gives it into midfield. The Canadians are at 6 and 7s. And you can hear Richie absolutely delighted.
Yeah, that was a big scrum from Scotland, wasn't it? Exactly what they want early doors. A lot of pressure on, and it disrupted the feed. I think it was Phil Mack, did he try and hit Van der Merwe? Couldn't take the ball under pressure from Lang, and Richie, as all good sevens do, Richie will be vocal, he'll put pressure on the opposition. And this is now an excellent attacking opportunity from Scotland, a great first scrum.
Scotland leading 3-0, and certainly got all the pressure so far, haven't they? They've got the scrum pressure, and in the midfield they've been carrying well too. Scotland then, the ball comes back, Denton moves position, Bergens squeezes his legs, Hidalgo Klein wants it to go forward, it comes into the midfield, short ball to Harris, just intercepted. Could still be a try here on the left wing to McGuigan. McGuigan is over. The first try of the match. It all came from the scrum. The move went bad, but what a try. Scotland on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely. Byron McGuigan scores the first try of the summer tour, but it was a wonderful pass by James Lang. Solid scrum to start with. The first phase move, the ball didn't go to hand, but Lang reacts really quickly, picks it up, and it has the vision to float that pass over Blair Kinghorn, over the Canadian defence, and Byron McGuigan did well to squeeze into the corner. Excellent pass, excellent vision, well executed, and it's a cracking start for Scotland.
That is a trademark of Gregor Townsend too, isn't it? That long pass, the Finn Russell pass from midfield to the winger.
Well, the other thing,
clever.
It's good, but don't underestimate Byron McGuigan's role in that. The wide players have to stay wide for that to be an option. So many times, you know, wingers come in, outside players come in, and it takes away that option. The defence don't want to cover the width, but by being there, it stretches the defence, it gives them an outlet, and Lang had the vision and the ability to find Byron McGuigan, who did well to finish in the corner. Less than 10 minutes in, Scotland already looking in control.
Yeah, they're looking good. This is the 5th time these sides have met. In the previous 4, Scotland have won 3, Canada 1. And Hidalgo Klein, yeah, you're right, Chris. Scotland looking comfortable. The Canadians haven't really been in Scotland's half. The scrums are going well, lineouts are going well, possessions easily kept.
Yeah, we said that Scotland's basics, we would want them to be... Interrupt, as if you could hear me, Sam Hidalgo Klein, but just shaved the left-hand post with that. But we said at the start that Scotland's basics would have to be good. Now, as I said already, Canada are ranked 21st in the world, Scotland are 6th. And if you get a good start, that then plays on the Canadian minds. If you let Canada get in with poor basics, then it makes it a tough afternoon. But I think Scotland have started really well, and hopefully more to come.
8-0 up. Denton had his foot in touch when he took that one. And a little bit of loose play from Dave Denton.
Yeah, that's a change in the law this year. So last year that would have been okay. That would have been deemed that the ball was in touch, but the ball has to cover the plane of touch now. Even although Dave Denton caught it, his foot was on the line, and that's a mistake from Dave Denton, just not being quite aware of his surroundings, and it gives Canada an opportunity to throw to the tail and launch their drive.
Barkwell throws in, I think taken by Matt Heaton. Number 7 up in the air. Canada then trying this drive. They're up into the 22. A little bit of Canadian pressure. McGuigan looks on. The Scots are these 8 points up, and the little hooker, again, Barkwer releases into midfield. Hassler causing hassle in midfield. Hassler, this big right winger, has the ball again. Canada at that one-pass game. Good tackle, thumping tackles by the Scots. Canadians play a very similar game plan to Gregor Townsend's, that pot of three. There's the front row, Ilnicki, Jake Ilnicki. Big player. Back the other side to this second row, Paul Ciullini, 6'6", normally a number 8. Canada still have. Trucking up through Barker. Barker, the number 1. Scottish defence is good. Denton tries to strip. Again, that longer pass in behind to Nick Blevins. Blevins winning his 50th cap. Canada looking ominous. And this is Heaton over the Scottish 22.
Yeah, Canada coming direct and not causing Scotland too many problems at the moment because it's one pass play. And the ball hits the deck and Chris Harris is up really quickly to make another tackle.
The Scottish blue line just making the best of what it can. Luke Campbell trucks up, the big number 8, penalty to Scotland, and Jackson rams in. That was a good piece of play by the Canadians.
It was. It would give them a bit more comfort that managed to hold the ball, but everything was a one-pass play. It didn't really stress the Scottish defence. Scottish defence were up on their feet, filling the field really quite well, and Dave Denton there was penalised. It'll be a frustrating one for Gregor Townsend. Dave just not rolling away quick enough. Even if you're trapped in, you have to make an effort to roll away, and sometimes prevention's better than cure nowadays. You know, stop yourself getting into that position so you don't have to roll away. But as you say, the Canadians held the possession but didn't threaten too much to the effective Scottish defence.
Well, this is Shane O'Leary, whose mum was born in Canada. He was turned down by the Irish under-20s, was called across to play for the Canadian under-20s. He'd played for Connaught, he'd played in France. Settled here now. And pretty regular kicker. O'Leary then with... There's the crowd. I think they were hoping for quite a few more, maybe 15,000, but they say it's maybe 10, 12,000 today. Expecting storms later on. And O'Leary, did that get pulled to the left? No, it's a penalty to the Canadians.
Yeah, good reward for that piece of play, wasn't it? He looked a little bit nervous in his lead up to O'Leary, but he certainly struck that really well indeed, clean through the posts, and it gives Canada the first point. Yeah, they're going the direct route, which isn't a surprise for the Canadians. But with, you know, DTH, Van der Merwe know all about him out wide, I think Scotland will be quite happy if they keep coming that direct route and Scotland make their low tackles.
Kinghorn then. High into the evening sky in Edmonton, taken by O'Leary. O'Leary is brought to ground by Jamie Ritchie. The Canadians gather. They will block for Mack. Mack looks to his left. And the Canadians are off and running. The big number 8, Luke Campbell. His mum, Marilyn, 1984 Olympic silver rowing medal, but it's a penalty to the Scots.
No, he survived the clean out.
Yeah, it was Luke Campbell made a big charge, but that was a midfield partnership with Lang and Chris Harris with a double team effort in defence. One low, one high, stopped them dead and managed to win the penalty. The good reply, as you see Alan Dale getting some treatment to his knee. He's an explosive player, incredible condition, very quick, very powerful, very explosive. He started well in the tight as well, Alan Dale, so we would want to see him leaving the field early.
Won the World Cup for the South African under-20s. The under-20s World Cup, very athletic player.
Yeah, and he's a good defender as well. He's got a high energy, high work rate. He's struggled a little bit with injuries over the last maybe 12 to 18 months, but he makes a big impact in the games he plays in. And there's a check call from a TMO. We're looking at some foul play here, I think. It's time off. I'm not sure what we're looking for, but
could this be the tackle?
Is it a neck roll? Was it someone? Sorry, in the down. It's on just at the bottom of the screen. Alan Dale picks up a knock. It's Noah Barker, I think. Certainly takes him away from the ball. It's just in the bottom of the scene now, Alan Dale going down. So you're keeping. I don't think we'll see it from here. It'll be in the left-hand side of your screen. Or if I'm looking at that as a high shot. I don't think there's anything wrong in there. I think there was a collision off the ball between the two number 1s. You see, keep your eye on where the balls came from. The number one's in bottom left.
Oh, that's bad.
It's a hyperextension. It looks like a hyperextension of Arndel's knee. And
That's
it's nowhere near the
bad.
ball. It's off the ball.
Right, well, this is Canadian pictures. Watch Dell's right knee. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's no need at all for that. That's a cynical piece of foul play. Can seriously injure a player. They're nowhere near the ball.
Arm binding, just shoulder on knee.
He's going at the knee.
Trying to
Okay.
hear the
So
referee.
we're trying to listen to the referee, but that's the issue for a player, isn't it? He thinks he's had a bang on his knee,
So I'm happy with you.
but we
Yellow card.
can see he's had a hyperextension of his knee.
Thank you. Red one, please.
Yeah. Shuei Kubo is going to have a word
Yeah,
with
the
Noah
one,
Barker.
Yeah, off the ball, leading shoulder onto the knee. Now. But and off the ball, it's right. It's a yellow card. Yeah.
That's a yellow card. DTH Van der Merwe is making the point that Allendale was holding on
Grant.
to Noah Barker, but that's
Grant.
unacceptable play.
It's gonna be option there or there. You wanna get there? Okay. So you want.
So they've got the option, because there's two penalties, now have the option as to which penalty he'd like to take. And there's Barker sending himself to the sin bin for 10 minutes. That
was a really stupid
As a
thing
Nazi-
to
yeah.
do. That was I mean, that could have been a broken leg. I know. The ball was. The lesson for anybody is the ball was miles away.
Well, he knew the ball was miles away, but he was also being pulled in, but he knew the ball was miles away, and you,
Carry on.
I think that's a bad one, and in many ways it's bordering between yellow and red, dare I say it, because it is
Well, I
so
thought
dangerous.
I heard red card.
Yeah.
Anyway, Scotland have the line out, 5 metres out. They've got the one try. They are a man up. Bradbury looks
Interesting.
expectant.
Change the decision
Yeah.
from kicking a goal as well to
To
go
the
the
line out. 5 metres out. Brown has at the back. Hidalgo Klein just polices. Gilchrist urging his team on. Scotland trying to make yards up against, they're a man up.
Next stop, is it?
And the referee is saying, as it stopped, in comes Harris, was it? Brown, they're being told to use it. Brown gives it to Klein. Klein comes down this side, Hidalgo Klein. Oh, Rory Jackson, could that be one of the tries of the year if he got this? Because that is quite a reach.
Can't tell from here, from the ground.
Okay. So any reason not what try? Yeah.
Any reason not to order a try? I tell you what, it's a fantastic effort from Rudy Jackson. Byron McGuigan joined them all to add his weight, and then Sam Hidalgo Klein came up the short side where Byron McGuigan would have been, and it was Rudy Jackson he found, and he must spin out the first tackle, and then as he got tackled, he certainly in one movement reached for the line. I think he touched the line. I think this will be a try. There's Jackson on the wide outside. It's Phil Mack, goes low, and as he rolls in one movement,
Oh, yeah.
he's got control of that. He's hit the line. I think this is going to be a try. His feet are in play. That's a try for me.
Yeah.
This is incredible presence of mind. He's got to spin beyond a tackler. He's got to reach. He's got to grab the ball short.
Or has he rolled it over?
Looks different from that end.
Yep. Okay, so scrum. Okay, so scrum 5 meter for red.
No, he's not giving it. Looks like it's going to be a scrum.
No try.
Yeah, that was that final angle, wasn't it?
Scrum, red.
Just where he was short and then rolled the ball over the line.
We didn't need the final angle, did we?
It's a fantastic effort for Rudy Jackson, wasn't it? You know, to ride the challenge first, to see the space, to ride the challenge, and
So
just
we need
short
scrum.
millimetres, and he just rolled the ball towards the line. So good
Yeah,
decision in the end.
7.
A cracking effort for that man on your screen.
Okay, Marcus here.
Yeah, it was. Scotland in the driving seat, but not getting it all their own way. They've got there'll be a man up now, and the Canadians have to bring a prop off the bench. So they brought on Justice Sears Duru, ex-Glasgow Warriors player.
Yeah, I'll know the guys pretty well. I think 2 seasons in Glasgow. They obviously put Nick Blevins on the blind side as well to make it 8 versus 8 in this crucial scrum.
Second frame gauge. Far side.
And Scotland have gone early. He's been quick to react or act in the scrum, hasn't it? The first one was a
Yeah,
very
yes,
quick free
quick
kick. That's a
penalties.
quick penalty. Setting his stall out. Kubu, the referee, really quickly.
Temporary substitution for Canada. Leading the game,
Just a Suru. I think there's 2 seasons he had at Glasgow.
No, no.
Good ball carrier, good in the tight. Maybe defensively, there's 1 or 2 things he can work on, but he's an explosive ball carrier. And if he gets the ball in open spaces, he's very athletic.
Good throw, good take by the Canadians into midfield. Oh, that was very strange. Not a great deal of punishment into contact. O'Leary could be caught. Oh, good break by O'Leary. Looks left to DTH Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe kicks long and gets the ball into touch.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think what they were trying to do there was almost make sure that the contact was inside the 22, so they could then kick out on the full. If the carry was too aggressive and went outside the 22, it meant that Canada wouldn't be able to put the ball field in the full, and it's quite a, I suppose, a submissive attitude, and it gives Scotland another set piece to attack from.
Denton thuds into the contact. It comes back the other side. They fake in behind to Kinghorn, and the Scots blue jerseys plough on. Hidalgo Klein looks for it, looks up, misses at Tullis, gives it to Gilchrist. Gilchrist, again the Canadians defending narrow, Chris.
Yeah, there's a lot of space on this outside. Here's Lang with the distribution. Magnus Bradbury out in the wide channels as well.
Oh, Bradbury does well. Through between a couple of red jerseys. Scots on a bit of a roll. Ball into Jackson. Jackson lays it late to Tullis. Scotland in front of the post. They come left. Left via Harris. Harris thinks, oh, sit down, he says, but he drops the ball. And the Canadians have, and they kick. And it's all a bit rushed from Parfrey, Pat Parfrey, the Canadian fullback.
Yeah, it was a set-piece move from Scotland, well taken at the line out. The first move was at the short side, made ground, and then, as you say, the Canadian defence got really narrow. And there was space on the outside. This is the end of it, where Chris Harris decides to go at the line, bashes O'Leary, but knocks the ball on. Jeff Hassler did a really good job there, the number 14. He shut off the pass, he forced Harris to run to where there was defenders, and then the ball was dislodged in the contact. There's not a lot of pressure on Scotland. You know, their set piece is good, their attack's good, they've got options and ball carriers. So from a Canadian point of view, you would be looking at trying to slow Scotland's possession down, get numbers on their feet, get off the line, try and disrupt the flow. Scotland have certainly got most of it their own way at the moment.
Canadian scramble defence has been good.
It's good. They'll always bring that level of physicality and aggression. But, you know, that last kind of phase of play off the line out, 3 or 4 phases, was very, very, not easy for Scotland, but very, very structured and organised. It wasn't as if they were under a huge amount of pressure. In the games. This is where Scotland want to bring, Fraser Brown's getting a little bit of treatment, but this is where they'll look to bring a lot of tempo and try and impose their game in Canada. You can see that Canada are quite happy to take their time. The 2 kickoffs they've had, they've walked to the kickoff, have been slow. They're trying to get the ball off the field. Scotland want to do the exact opposite.
The Scots certainly look the better conditioned team, don't they, Chris? Just looking down that line of bodies, you've got the likes of Dell, Tullis, Gilchrist. You've got Berger, who's 116 kgs, Tullis 118 kgs. Canada have, though. Again, they hit their big runners and trying to get some clear. Yeah, good tackling by Richie. Mack thinks. Mack just dinks it over the top. Taken securely by McGuigan into Kinghorn. Kinghorn looks to his right-hand side. Lee Jones it was. This is James Lang. He's had a good start to his international career. Gives it to Bradbury. Bradbury then links to Brown. Brown just makes the extra pace or 2. Gives it to Hidalgo Klein. It's that system. And Dell on it again. Hidalgo Klein gives it to Richie. Richie to Brown. It's the same figures. Not making too much ground, but Canada not able to stop this as yet. Jackson pulls it back to Kinghorn. Kinghorn long and wide out to Lee Jones. What do you make of this?
Well, the Canadians are very narrow again in defence. That's Blevins on the outside. Scotland are going direct, and they'll look to move it a bit wider here, I think, to exploit the space.
Staying with the same pattern, Bergen offloads, this time to Jackson. Jackson gives it to Fraser Brown. Harris again, he's a good, big, punishing runner is Harris. They look up, find Tullis, that pot of 3. Bergen smashes up. Hidalgo Klein looks left, Kicks on, and it'll be covered by the Canadians, and it'll trickle into touch in goal.
Yeah, I think Scotland will they'll look to move the ball wider, quicker. I think that they're almost working too hard. They've really narrowed the Canadian defence, and I think they'll look to get one or two quick passes wide to the edge a little bit quicker. Sam Hidalgo-Klein obviously dinked that ball over the top there, and it rolled the wrong side of the post. But you can see from this shot, a lot of the Canadians, I mean, they don't look too well, but they're certainly blowing that. You're right, they're not as well conditioned as Scotland. And Scotland are making them work hard. And although Scotland aren't getting the rewards at the moment of running at space, if this game continues as it is, the Canadians will be exhausted going into the second half, and that's where we'll really see the difference of Scotland finding the space.
Well, that's what they'll be hoping. Yeah, watching BBC Scotland, it's the game live, Scotland against Canada in Edmonton. Just the one try if you've missed what's happened so far. Long ball. Scotland in their rhythm, and you're suggesting Scotland should maybe go a bit wider. Denton blasts up.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of hard work here, but the Canadian defence isn't coming up very hard at all. It's very narrow. It's not putting Scotland under pressure. Look there, the red jerseys are very close together. There should be a little more space on the edge.
They've read what they think might be coming, which is this pattern. But let's see, Scotland will a little bit more width this time. This is the new cap, Lang. Hidalgo-Klein is there. He just inches up, gives it to Harris. Harris makes 2 or 3 meters. Hidalgo-Klein looks up. Good play by the Scots. Bergen runs slightly across the field. Hidalgo-Klein looks to his left, goes to his right. Jackson with a little chip through, and it's going to be a little bounce directly in the field, and it'll be a line out to the Canadians.
Yeah, the Canadians are having to work really hard, aren't they? Scotland are having a lot of possession. The Canadians are having to make a lot of tackles against big ball carriers as well. Bergen, Toulouse, Fraser Brown's carrying hard, James Lang's carrying in the midfield. So the Canadians are having to make a lot of tackles. And there, where they were organised, Rudy Jackson decides to dink the ball over the front line and put the pressure on Barkle to throw 5 metres from his own line.
Sun's out just before the Storms, expected in about an hour's time.
And you can see how long the Canadians are taking.
Yeah.
They don't want this quick tempo at all. They want to eke as much time to recover as possible.
Barkwell throws, taken by Evan Olmsted. Scored a try against Uruguay, normally a 6. And the shadow for Mack to kick. And the Canadians just getting out of their danger area. DTH Van der Merwe, beautiful take by the former Glasgow player. Canada have it. Mack looks up, has a bunch of big Canadians, including this man, Nick Blevins. Blevins batters up. Canada still have. Kicked long by O'Leary. Kinghorn, sunny day, artificial turf. He's a big man, 6'5", he can run. Hidalgo-Klein. It's Bergen to Jackson. Jackson looped it to Ritchie. Ritchie again sits another player down. Ball comes out, it's out, says the referee. Play on, says Mr. Mack. He's got the ball. Beautiful strip. Oh, penalty, says the ref.
He's saying he's put his hands on the ground, Ben Toulouse. Now, I think that's as good a clean steal as you'll get. Any hands on the ground should be penalised, and maybe he did grace the turf. That's fine by Phil Mack, over the ball, gets it, wins it, but then look at Ben Toulouse. That's a harsh penalty. The action from the referee is, you can just see the top of your screen there, is he's put hands on the turf, so he's not holding his own body weight.
I don't think he did, though, did he?
There wasn't a lot in it, was there? Again, it gives Canada time to slow the game down a little bit. They are a physical team. We keep saying it, Canada. They'll carry hard. They'll disrupt the breakdown.
All right. So you gave me
and they're playing at home.
And they're playing at home, and there's
having a disappointing season, aren't they? They're trying to qualify for the World Cup. They've lost to the USA. They've lost to Uruguay.
Yeah. You see the crowd there. So
timing is a five.
Better filling up as opposed to what it looked like pre-kick-off.
Time on. Ready to go.
Again, referee having to blow them time on. Scotland have, interestingly, at line-out time, Ben Toulouse especially has been up and contested the throw, which I like seeing. Some teams will opt not to challenge a throw and just get set ready for the drive or get set for the first defensive effort, but most of the line-out so far, Scotland have thrown someone up, put the thrower under pressure. And I like to see that. I like challenging at source again. Toulis and Denton up, trying to win the ball.
Taken up by Nick Blevins. Blevins being used as that punishing, battering ram. They give it to a couple of these runners. Oh, good carrying by the Canadians. Up into the Scottish 22, Mack. Looks left, finds the number 8, Luke Campbell. Campbell blasts up. Canada again have possession. It's Sears Duru, Justice Sears Duru.
Again, Canada keeping the ball under pressure. But it is a one-pass play. Again, Barkwell carrying hard, met by Bergen. Fighting for every inch. Scotland are on their feet. They're positioned well, and they just have to keep making these tackles.
Mack looks up, has Olmsted. Olmsted trucks up. Just they're trying to get across this 22. Looks as though Sears Duru's taken a knock. Again, it's Blevins. Usually stripped by Scotland. This could be a long-range attack. A long-range attack by the Scots. Out to Jackson. Rory Jackson just shepherds halfway through. Lovely bit of interaction between Hidalgo, Klein, and was it McGuigan? And it's just kicked into touch.
No option.
Yeah, it's just knocked forward as Sam Hidalgo Klein tried in vain to keep the ball on the field. It was a good turnover. Yep. On the other side of the field, this is a ball being moved left. Lovely 1-2 between McGuigan and back to Hidalgo Klein as he tries to keep the ball in play. He just knocks it forward. There's the 1-2. You could argue it's maybe slightly forward, but Hidalgo Klein under the pressure for Doug Fraser just throws it forward. It's good to see Scotland that they soaked up the pressure. Jamie Ritchie making 2 or 3 really good low chop tackles, disrupting the ball. I think it was Blevins that lost the ball carrying forward. It gave Scotland the opportunity to counter-attack.
You're questioning whether the Canadians can keep this
well, we just need to look at the body language.
Up.
We just need to look at the body language. It's much harder physically to defend than attack. You know, it's never easy to play with the ball, but it seems to take less oxygen out your lungs. And just add to that, the Canadians have made so many tackles, and every stoppage there seems to be, you know, treatment being given. They're walking to the line out, they're delaying the throw, they're walking to kickoffs. It just looks as if Scotland are better conditioned.
Looks like an injury to Fraser Brown. I think James Robson's saying he's hurt his stomach muscles or his ribs. 29 minutes gone, 8-3. Acceptable score?
Yeah, any test match is hard. Of course it is, and I think you lay the platform early on for what you know you get the benefits come the final whistle. And we keep saying it, but Canada have had to make a lot of tackles. Scotland will be a wee bit disappointed with how maybe 1 or 2 clinical edges that they haven't taken. They've created a lot of space and maybe carried once or twice too directly, but that's all part of the bigger picture to wear out the Canadians. The crowd are enjoying it. 1 or 2 fancy dress. They're expecting the rain with the rubber rings. But I think Scotland will be happy playing away from home, having first game on tour. Scored a good early try. They've had a lot of pressure. They've defended well. But they look to obviously want to add to the score before half-time.
Yeah, Canadians have always provided big abrasive packs. Interestingly, the Canadians have more experience. They have 341 caps spread out among the starting 15. Scots starters just 177 combined caps, with 10 players yet to reach double digits in test appearances.
Well, Dave Denton's the most cap in the Scotland pack with 39 caps. Fraser Brown, the guy who's getting some treatment at the moment, we hope he's okay, is in 31 caps. Captain Grant Grilko's 22, and the rest are in and around single figures. So it's not hugely experienced in terms of number of caps. As you say, the Canadians are more experienced in there, but we hope Fraser Brown's okay. He does look like ribs.
Well, he's walking off, which is good.
Obviously, George Turner will replace him. Tour captain Stuart McInally is obviously missing this week with a calf injury. Grant Stewart was called up, but the man on the bench is George Turner. He'll bring an explosive ball carrying ability as well. A fantastic season for Glasgow Warriors. He's a physical defender as well, but it's sad to see Fraser Brown going off. Let's hope it's not too bad.
Well, there's George Turner on in the hooking position. You're right, this is a game Scotland have... What have they done? They've gone through their phases, gone through their shape. They've attacked, could have scored more tries. Rory Jackson was close, dominant in the scrums so far, but maybe just their attacks being read a bit.
A little bit, and the guts and the determination of the Canadian defence. You mentioned the scramble defence is good, but we're only 30 minutes in.
Back to O'Leary. O'Leary wider. Round comes Hassler. Hassler throws the glory ball.
Keep watching.
It was well read by Chris Harris. It's one of the things he's done. He's been really impressive for Newcastle, his defensive reads. Not only his tackling, but his read of defence. He spies Hassler there, forces out the line, forces Hassler to pass forward, and you can see Blair Kinghorn closing the gate on the outside, taking the last man.
Scotland have. Harris again with the ball to Kinghorn. Kinghorn over the halfway line, kicks ahead for McGuigan. McGuigan chases back, comes DTH Van der Merwe from his wing. He's a great player, Van der Merwe. He's actually on 99 top-level tries. If he scores tonight, it's a big moment for him. It'll be his 100th against these many of his old teammates. But DTH Van der Merwe, a great player, taken quickly by Scotland. Scotland, I think, trying to increase the pace. Chris Patterson is pointing hard to the right. Denton bludgeons up. That ponytail of his flying in the wind. Lovely out to Kinghorn. No, it's not Kinghorn, it's Bradbury. Bradbury then bashes into a couple of defenders. Scotland with lots of possession. Turner doing his best. Hidalgo Klein finds Jackson again. Jackson to Denton. Denton again. He's incredibly powerful. Hidalgo Klein goes left. Kinghorn goes halfway through the gap. Over the ball comes Ritchie into Denton. Denton's through, gives it to Gilchrist, who just knocks it on. It's going to be a double knock on. A bit more promising, Chris Patterson, a bit more promising.
Yeah, it's a different tempo to the attack, wasn't it? Working hard, really good footwork there from Dave Denton, just that late movement. Put the defence on their heels and he managed to break through, but unfortunately for Grant, Gilchrist couldn't keep control of the ball when he was hitting it at pace. There's Grant, disappointed with that one. It's 22, 23 degrees out there as well, so it'll be hot, it'll be burning the lungs. I haven't played for a few weeks. So it is difficult, but that was much quicker attack from Scotland, much better.
Yeah, it's great to have DTH back at Glasgow, I think, isn't it? He's a really popular player.
Yeah, he's a proven try scorer, isn't he? Such a powerful runner. A lot of his weight and a lot of his powers from his hips down, very hard to tackle. And that example there, just he picked up, he's obviously playing on the left when he picked up from Blair Kinghorn's chip through way over on the right touchline. That's his reading, his understanding of the game. He knew the fullback had gone up, and he was there not only to pick up and cover, but actually make a decent, break and inroads into the Scottish defence. Quality player, very hard to put down.
This was Turner just juggling the ball, and is that where they're pulling up? I don't think that was intentional. That was Campbell, Luke Campbell, the big number 8. Not sure he intended it. That's the bigger tackler on the smaller player.
It doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. It's a shoulder to the head as well. It's and it's not good to see.
Do you know, we've said it a few times, but these games are always difficult to win.
Oh,
you go some halfway across the world, or 6-7 hour flight, play somewhere, and they are really up for it. The Canadians, they're still sticking in. And round the corner, nearly intercepted. Jackson nearly intercepted that one. He's clasping his hands. He knows he was so close.
No coin to touch.
It's good attack from Canada. Takes a lot of courage. It's almost like a late decision to come up the right-hand side. Jackson stepped in, and if that pass had stuck from Mack to Hassler, he would have had a bit of space to run into. Credit to the Canadians. I think everyone would have expected maybe them to clear lines. They've kicked a lot early on, but they saw some space and were prepared to attack it there.
Turner to Toulis. Toulis takes. Turner has at the back. It's a maul. Scots moving forward. Good pace by the Scots. Good 7-8 metres still to go. Turner looks up. The maul grinds inexorably forward. They've got 5 metres left. Scotland then, it's coming left. It goes to Hidalgo Klein. He pops it at Jackson. Rory Jackson with a great little try. The man who was knocked out the last time Scotland played Canada gets Scotland's second try.
Yeah, big old smile on his face for Rory Jackson. That's a nice try, isn't it? Forwards did a remarkable job driving 15 metres, always under control, ball at the back, and the communication between Sam Hidalgo Klein and George Turner, who's just off the bench onto the field to keep a calm head, sets up the opportunity for Hidalgo to take and give, draw a mark, and put Rudy Jackson over untouched. Now he's moved from the right-hand side of the maul to the left, a late movement, really good movement, work rate off the ball, and is rewarded with his try.
There was hardly a defender. There was one defender.
Because
they'd gone to the right.
And because Scotland had driven the maul so effectively, they'd also driven it in field to create that blind side. And the communication between George Turner at the back, Sam Hidalgo-Klein and Rudy Jackson, not to forget, Barry McGuigan was outside him as well. So really good identification of the space, late movement and good control in the drive. That's an important score for Scotland. They've had a lot of pressure. I think they deserve that score. And it'll be a real, you know, sort of sucker punch for Canada, who've held out for, I think it was 9 minutes in the last try, so they've held out for 25 minutes or so under a lot of pressure without conceding. But that one just before half-time is an important score for Scotland.
Well, there's Fraser Brown limping off in the background. Hidalgo-Klein looks to add another couple of points. Left-footed kicker. And he's got it. That's a good kick by Hidalgo-Klein. Hard to tell from where we are, but a good kick by Hidalgo-Klein. And the Scots definitely into their pattern, Chris, and that's a couple of tries.
Yeah, it's good to see the set piece from a Scottish point of view working. The scrum's been good, the line-out has been good, the line-out drive's been good. So when you haven't played, and you are, you know, maybe mixing it, mainly Edinburgh players, but when you're mixing players coming together, it's great to see the continuity there.
Well, that was a Van der Merwe chase, and that was knocked on by a head, and it's been pulled back by the referee.
Yeah, the whistle went fairly early, didn't it? It looked like...
Well, this is a take that Gilchrist didn't quite make, did he? He was being chased.
Yeah, I think it's be interesting to see again. It looked as if it came off a head, but the referee blew his whistle pretty quickly. We'll have another look here. Good kick-off. Gilchrist getting left now. Can't take it first time. Yeah, certainly gone forward. Yeah, certainly gone home from Olmsted.
Crouch!
And it looks like Mark Bennett was trying to make a tackle there as well. So I wonder Mark Bennett's on the field. Chris Harris is at scrum half. It's interesting. Sam Hidalgo-Klein's at first receiver. Chris Harris is at feeding the scrum. Yeah. One of the things that could be is Sam Hidalgo-Klein's a left-footed player, so whether they're going to try and create a kicking opportunity for Sam to kick to the left or not, I'm not sure. Or maybe they've got a special play up their sleeve.
Let's go.
We'll have a look. He's back at 9. Be interesting to see what they're going to do there. Nice little intricacy, but Sam Hidalgo's back at scrum half. Mark Bennett's on the field as well, so we'll find out who he's came on for.
Set!
Solid scrum by Scotland. Denton tries to urge his team forward. They move forward.
Use it now, use!
Being told to use it. Yep, good scrum. Denton into Lang. Oh, Lang does well. Past 2 or 3 players. That's good abrasion by the young centre. Hidalgo-Klein looks, gives it deep all the way back to Kinghorn. And Kinghorn kicks it long. Taken by the big fullback, Parfrey. And Parfrey sclaffs it into touch. It'll be a line out on the halfway.
Almost looked as if he carried that outside his 22 before he kicked up. Parfrey certainly a clear exit from Scotland. Blair Kinghorn kicking along, and we're off quickly again.
Very quick
feeding the line out.
Yeah, very quick line out. Ball in, ball away. Gilchrist picks and goes. Gilchrist, legs pumping. Ritchie there with the protection. Another ball to Tulis. Tulis. Denton there with him too. Hidalgo-Klein gives it to Jackson. Jackson, the little pull in behind to Harris. Harris, he's got a great show reel on YouTube, Harris. If you watch it, he's a really long striding runner. Denton.
Move!
Scotland need this ball back more quickly, says Chris Patterson. Jackson. Jackson too. Yeah, you're right. That looks like somebody off the bench. Bradbury tucks the ball under one arm. Bennett's on the pitch. Mark Bennett's on. I wonder who's off. Could be McGuigan, could it? I haven't seen McGuigan.
Lee Jones,
McGuigan, Lee Jones, maybe. We haven't been told of any subs, but Bennett's obviously on the pitch. We've got Lang, we've got Harris, we've got Kinghorn. This is taken up by Dell, who's already had his knee hyperextended. Fidalgo Klein looks up, there's Bennett. Mark Bennett, going to be a math teacher one day. Good player, played in the 2016 Olympics. And Hidalgo Klein still has, going through the pattern. Deeper ball, lovely delay. Gives it to Denton, Denton to McGuigan. McGuigan needs to just keep this in possession. He does really well. Denton doesn't look too happy off the pitch. Hidalgo Klein has to Tullis. Tullis wiped up by Turner. Hidalgo Klein again to Jackson. Jackson to Lang. Lang, long ball to Jamie Ritchie. Ritchie then, this again another good young player winning his first cap. Keeps the ball alive. Jackson spins it across the pitch to Gilchrist. Good play by the Scots. Going side to side though.
They're keeping possession, aren't they? They're making Canada make a lot of tackles. And they're doing it actually quite well. They're putting a little bit more pressure on at the breakdown as well. Canada, Olmsted in there, number 5, trying to slow possession down.
Tillis rescues, pick and go, just left of that ruck. George Turner picks and goes. He's got speed, he's got abrasion. Bergen just keeps that ball isolated underneath him, picked up by Bradbury. Gilchrist is there to protect, pick and go in front of the post. Dell out to Ritchie. Ritchie is brought down. Sounds like penalty advantage, says the referee. Klein with a little chip through. Ooh, there's a block off the ball. It's going to be a penalty to Scotland.
Yeah, come back for the penalty offside. Scotland must have kept that ball for up near, if not over 20 phases. Good ball security, challenging the line, but credit to the Canadians who really made their tackles. They put more pressure on the breakdown, disrupted the presentation once or twice, but they're straight offside. We're past the 40-minute mark. Scotland up to it. We can do that now again. It used to be that if you kick the ball out after the 40 minutes, it was game or half over. But now Scotland have the opportunity to throw in the line. I would be surprised if we didn't see a maul. Their maul's been very effective. Created the first try, the second try, sorry, giving them a lot of good field position. I think we'll see a drive here.
Turner to Gilchrist. Gilchrist plucks the ball out of the air. It's accidentally offside. And that will be half-time. And it's been a satisfying half. The 2 tries, Canada 3, Scotland 15. Thank you, Dougie. Yep, it's a warm and balmy night in Edmonton at the Commonwealth Stadium, and they're expecting storms in about 40 minutes' time. Still 20-odd degrees Scotland have, and they are looking pretty comfortable without actually setting the heather alight. But 1 half to go. 1 of 3 games. On tour, North and South America. And Pat Parfrey, long, rangy runner. He just kicks for touch. Chris Patterson.
Yeah, I think he's taking the ball back into his 22. So a mistake by Parfrey. Just sometimes these things happen immediately after half-time. You come out, you're not quite focused. You've been resting for 15 minutes, and you make a silly mistake like that. But it gives George Turner an opportunity in Scotland to throw the line out and try and start the second half well.
Which he does. Denton takes. And a great little chance here for George Turner because Stuart McAnally was the original. Hooker called off with a calf injury. Penalty to Scotland.
Yeah, it was Evan Olmsted.
Yeah,
he got a really good shot. A shot of it right away, wasn't he? He jumped across the line and got himself in between I think it was Tullis who caught it, and the supporting player jumped right across. You go straight up because he jumps right across in front of Denton, so it is, and then in between Denton and Ritchie. Jamie Ritchie as well to gather it after it took the bubble from Olmsted, but it's clearly offside. And 2 silly mistakes early on from Canada allows Scotland to build more pressure.
Another line out taken by Gilchrist. Gilchrist takes it comfortably. Turner in for the ride. Turner has it at the back. Oh, that maul is flying forward. This could be another try. Gilchrist has made the ground. Turner's there. It's a try for George Turner. That's a great way to start the second half. They've used line-out dominance. They've used them all to effect, and George Turner dots the ball down. Try number 3.
Yeah, really good start to the second half from Scotland. Direct at the line out. As a penalty. after the initial line-out drive was stopped, but this one was never getting stopped. George Turner, the whole pack working hard towards the line. Really good patience and discipline from Turner and Bergen there, not to fly off the back on your own, stick with the pack, driving towards the line. His initial maul, it stayed the same maul. It was never going to be stopped. George Turner keeps his composure and ducks down to the left-hand side of the post.
Yeah, without being too unkind, there is a difference in build between the Scottish players and the Canadian players. Some of the Canadians carrying the odd extra pound or two, aren't they, if we're being frank here, because, you know, they're ranked 21st in the world, Scotland are 6th in the world, and the Canadians don't look like they've got the same conditioning going. Here's Sam Hidalgo Klein.
Yeah, just a conversion, just the left-hand side of the post. Stays nice and tall, chips it over. Really good kick by Sam Hidalgo Klein. You're right that the Canadians don't look quite as well conditioned. They're missing one or two of their front line players.
Yeah.
Tyler Ardron, who plays for the Chiefs in New Zealand, the Super Rugby, he played for the Ospreys for a long time, is a big, abrasive, fit number 8 back row player. Gordon McCrory, lad from Stirling, actually, who's amassed a few caps for Canada as a scrum half or a standoff, a good player as well. He's not there. And all the work that the Canadians had to do in the first half, defending phase after phase against Scotland, I think will punish them in this second half.
They have, though. Here's a chance to make amends. They look into the middle. Up goes Ray Barkwell. 111 kgs, longer ball by Mack. Just keeps it late to Blevins. Blevins does well. Canada looking much more promising into the right winger, Jeff Hassler, who we know can create absolute havoc. Canada again trucking up. They play proudly for that team in red. They've got the penalty. DTH van der Merwe desperate for it, but it's going to be a penalty to the Canadians.
Yeah, frustrating. Kick-off reception.
Taken quickly by Mack. Mack looks for DTH. Mack is over the line. He's been held up, and it's held up. It'll be a... Looks as though nobody was back 10 metres. They've got the penalty again.
It's held. No 10.
Yeah, it's another penalty. Phil Mack spies the gap. Rory Jackson's not 10 metres. He's running. He can't interfere like that. As soon as you get back onto your goal line, obviously you don't have to go any further back. So Magnus Bradbury's fine as soon as he gets to the goal line, but Rory Jackson just comes in from the side there, and it's a big decision for Canada. They've gone to the touchline.
They've gone for the line out, as you say.
Phil Mack's just asking the referee whether that's a professional foul. He's still asking, sowing the seed of doubt in the referee's mind. But it was a poor kick-off reception by Scotland that allowed Canada this field position. And as you say, they hit the ball really hard, attacked the ball well. Hassler carried hard. Luke Campbell, the number 8, always through that first 45 minutes, he's carried aggressively as well. And there's an HIA for Scotland debutant James Lang. He's going to wait to get his head injury assessment checked. So will it mean a cap for Adam Hastings?
Well, I wonder. Lang looks like Rory Jackson doesn't look too happy in the background either. Ray Barkwell.
Yeah, I think Adam Hastings coming on, because we saw Mark Bennett in the first half.
Time back home.
Well, there he is. There's a cap for young Adam Hastings, son of the great Gavin Hastings. And there he is, right in front of the posts. Adam Hastings on the pitch for his first cap. The Canadians have, though.
No, get out.
Denton being told to get out of the way, as is Bradbury. Mack is just shouting, cajoling. Canada moving forward. Mack looks for the ball. Barkwell has it, though. And they still want it themselves, this big, abrasive Canadian pack. Gives it the short ball, and good tackle there by the blue defenders. And the Canadians very, very close. They just have to touch the bottom of that post, remember, and that would be a try.
Too many on the ground. Scrum. Too many on the ground.
Yeah, the ball's held up there, just short of the line, and obviously didn't get the ball against the post. Good scramble defence by Scotland eventually. The direct route, it's George Turner who's just scored. As at the bottom of there, Magnus Bradbury with initial contact as well. Good scramble defence from Scotland, but there'll be an attacking opportunity, attacking scrum here for Canada. So be looking to obviously get a decent solid scrum. They can attack left or right. George Turner
doesn't look happy. Fraser Brown's already left the field. I don't think there's anybody else with hooker experience.
in the squad.
Well, that's a good question, isn't it?
Which would mean uncontested scrums,
Yeah,
I believe.
Jamie Batty, unless he has, or
No, you have to
Murray
nominate,
McCallum.
you have to nominate, I think, beforehand who your front row coverer and who your hook and prop covers are. See Stevie Match, the Scotland physio check, and George Turner. And Chris Harris has moved on to the wing as well. Looking back at the setup of that last line, he obviously moved onto the wing when Mark Bennett came on, I think in the first half. So we've now got a midfield of Jackson. It'll be Adam Hastings and Mark Bennett will be defending the scrum. In the flanks you'll have Chris Harris and Lee Jones and Blair Kinghorn still at fullback. So
I wonder if Big Gavin's watching this, because we know, Gavin, you were away to the Rolling Stones concert and he said in the papers he might not stay up. Can you imagine?
I'm sure he'll be
Can you
watching.
imagine if Gavin and Di have just gone to the bed and they're missing their boys' first cap?
No chance. No chance. They'll be proud as punch.
Right, good.
And quite rightly.
Great play, great people, aren't they? Great
absolutely.
people, and they will be as proud, as you say, as every parent is. You know, I'm sure Jamie Ritchie's parents are as proud, James Lang's parents too.
Lewis Carmichael on the bench
Lewis will
as well.
come on. Hopefully he'll come on too. Anyway, Canada with a chance to just get a try. They're going left. Canadians looking much better. Oh, that could be pulled back. This could be a bit of an issue for Rory Jackson.
Yeah. Listen, what I have to say.
It's going to be 10, but we need the potential. It's a potential last pass.
Mr. Clancy.
Yeah, okay. TMO.
Right, did he try and catch this, Chris, or was it knocked down?
Well, if you go with one hand and don't get it.
So can I get the wide angle, please?
I was looking for the wide angle. I think this will be a yellow card. It's Jackson, if his right hand gets to it.
Okay, so
yeah, it's a tough one. In the current climate, I think there's going to be a yellow card.
So 10 blue, please. Where's your 10? 10, yeah. It's deliberate knock-on and prevented scoring try.
Yeah, and the penalty try. He was the last man.
Penalty try.
Yeah, he was the last man. And it obviously interfered with the pass. With no extra cover, so not only a yellow card for Rue Jackson's, a penalty try. No need for the conversion. Straight 7 points. Nowadays for a penalty try. So Canada get the first try, the first penalty try of the match, and it came from a solid scrum. Actually, Scotland tried to apply a bit of pressure, but it was a solid enough scrum that allowed Phil Mack to carry the ball, run left, and force the temptation from Rue Jackson to make a play at the ball.
That's a bad one from Jackson, giving away the penalty try. Cruel but fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Harsh but fair.
I think if one hand, it used to be whether if you knock the ball up. Now, if you go with one hand and you don't get it, that's an instinctive thing. You see the ball, you want to reach for it. You're 2 meters off your own line, but quite rightly a yellow card. And because he was the last man, because there was no defender, the try would have been scored.
And you know, you just feel the temperature of the game changing here, because that's Scotland down a man. They truck up in midfield. Hidalgo Klein looks up, finds Bradbury. Bradbury, the big, abrasive back rower from Edinburgh. I think originally from Oban. Mum D, famous Highland Games competitor. And Scottish rugby player too. Hidalgo Klein looks like a chip pass. It's just a chip kick for territory, chased up by Hastings. Scotland will wonder what to do now, won't they? Because they're a man down.
Well, it's not the end of the world that. It gets the ball off the field, it gets you an opportunity to regroup. I think Adam Hastings will be at 10. Whether Jackson was in that position defensively because of the changes, we'll need to figure out who's playing where. But it's a good opportunity for Adam to come in, whether he's at 10 until Jackson comes back on. But he'll need to try and use the little experience he has to guide his team around the park when you're up against it with 14 men.
Just to remind you, we're not in control of the pictures that are coming to us from Canada. But the Canadians coming back into this. Oof, well picked up by Kinghorn. This is the big man. Here he goes. Great try scored against the Irish. Play Kinghorn through. Hidalgo Klein looks up, finds Denton. Denton tackled by this professional CrossFit trainer, Matt Heaton at number 7 for the Canadians. Little dink on from Hastings. Never thought I'd commentate on a Hastings. Brilliant play, great for him. Adam Hastings then keeping that name alive. Adam and Scott and Gavin. And taken up by Tullis. Tulis, Scotland getting ever closer to that try line. Hidalgo Klein to Hastings. Hastings at 10, pulls it back to Harris. Harris. Again, Scotland are just bashing up in this pattern. Hidalgo Klein looks to his left.
The Canadians are fanning out as well. There's this space over the top of the ball as he can get his hands on it. He's causing a bit of mischief there in around the breakdown.
Oh, forward from Hastings.
Yeah, he's just drifted forward. I can understand what Scotland are trying to do because they're a man short in the backs. They want to keep it quite close. They want to, control possession. But there's actually a little bit of space over top of that ball.
Just watch DTH van der Merwe on the right. We went along and congratulated half the Canadian team. So look, we can feel things are changing.
Yeah, there's Adam just apologising for the ball just drifting forward. Mark Bennett, Chris Harris is on the wing now. So there's a lot of change in that Scotland backline due to injury and obviously the yellow card. But I think,
you know what? When there's a gap, tell the listeners about Adam Hastings.
Well, I think he's a fantastic young player. He's brave, he's courageous, he's so driven and determined to win that he can take a lot on himself. But that's a quality for me. He's an instinctive reader of the game. He breaks, he runs well. Understandably, young players make mistakes. They will make mistakes, but I think his attitude and his desire and will to win is very refreshing, and I hope he has a long and successful career.
Here come more changes, and on comes Jamie Batty for Dell. Jamie Batty, the big loose head. And I think Dee Bradbury's just posted that she stayed up to watch the game. She was at the Stones concert as well.
Yeah, Jamie Batty's coming on. Alan Dell, we've spoken about how effective he's been. Alan Dell, big part of the scrum being successful, big part of the line-out drive being successful. See the rain just coming on to make the ball even more greasy.
Lightning.
And Edmondson. Another challenge for the players and for the guys. Good scrum by Scotland.
Good scrum. The Scots just drive the Canadians off the ball. Hastings down that blind side. Hidalgo Klein halfway through. Denton into support. Denton with the block. Hastings in with the block too, picked up by Bradbury to Batty. Batty just makes a few meters. Bradbury playing at number 9 to Tulis. And Scotland then going at his Ali Price. Look, Price is there to Denton. Denton up again. Denton doing a lot of ball carrying today. Price with that snappy service. And that went between two players. And it was knocked on, was it? But the Canadians have. It's loose by the Canadians. Could be a chance down this near side. Tackled by Harris. Better game in the second half, Chris Patterson.
Yeah, the Canadians are getting a lot more possession than they did in the first half. Scotland got an early try in the second half, which is important. And now Canada quite comfortably ball in hand, trying to play out of defence.
Good.
Hassler.
He's interesting, Jeff Hassler. He's a big biker. And he'd got his contract all messed up with the Ospreys, so he's out of contract, but very good. Here's Tulis, Ben Tulis. Tulis pins his ears back, looks up, gives it inside to Turner. Turner has Bradbury's filling in at number 6 and number 9. Taken in by McGuigan. McGuigan, he's 5 meters short. Scotland looking good. And the ball comes back. Batty will take. Batty links it out the back to Hastings. It's Price, shorter ball. Kinghorn, will he make it? The extra roll. Is Kinghorn over the line? He's over the line, but I don't think he's got it down.
It's Harris.
No, it's a cracking tackle. DTH van der Merwe, Evan Olstead in there. Really good delayed run by player Kinghorn to Ali Price's pass. And then it was almost one roll too many. And he got caught on his back. Blair Kinghorn, much better reaction from Scotland from that ball popping out near. Ben Tulis worked really hard, broke the line. George Turner made inroads as well. And just that extra roll and reach, just as he goes to reach, it's DTH van der Merwe stops it and stops a certain try. There's an example of last-ditch defence, isn't it?
Yeah, good attack,
tackle by
good defence.
Fraser Olmsted, and then DTH. Well, he's known for scoring tries. He saved one there. But a really good reaction to the loose ball from Scotland. Tulis carrying hard to say George Turner. And then just that delayed pass from Ali Price, teasing the defence. And Blair Kinghorn did exactly what John Bartley and Andy Nichols spoke about at half-time, that was needed, just that direct run. When there is space on the edge, run hard at it rather than being a little bit passive. And he went for the space, but for a tremendous last-ditch effort for that man, DTH van der Merwe, he would have scored.
Time back home, scrum. Here we go.
Still have the putting at the scrum here, and Scotland's scrum has been dominant. Just fresh legs with Jamie Batty in the front row as well for Scotland.
It's interesting, is that young Adam's on the pitch, Adam Hastings, obviously Scott and Gavin's two brothers. Ewan and Graham also played for Watsonians, so they'll all be absolutely delighted that the man at standoff now in the blue jersey.
Good balance, good balance.
He's ready and waiting. There he is, top right-hand side.
Okay, good balance.
This is a big opportunity for Scotland. They want to put a bit of pressure on the scrum. Obviously, there's a blind side there that DTH Van der Merwe just on the left-hand side. He has to respect that. He has to stay there. Although there's not a Scotland attacking player there. If Scotland decide to go 8-9, number 8 to number 9 up that short side, he has to stay there. So it actually gives you can see there no Scottish players right-hand side. It means they've almost effectively got a full back line on the left-hand side, regardless of the yellow card.
Cole Keith is on at tight head for the Canadians. Up into that danger area go the Scottish jerseys. Price looks up, gives it to Denton. Denton is brought down to ground in this tipping rain. Picked up one pass game for Bradbury. Bradbury's over. Scotland in control. Just went through the phases, and eventually Magnus Bradbury just got on the end of the pass. Another try for Scotland, and the Scots back in their dominant phases.
Yeah, it's a fourth try for Scotland. Some good play here. Scotland working the same way, working really hard. It's Bradbury who gets on the outside edge of the defender, makes it to the line and scores. Good carry from Denton before that. Prior to that, it was Mark Bennett who took the initial carry. And just that little bit of footwork, that little bit of delay, gets on the outside of Fraser rather than running straight at the defender, and gets at the space between the two defenders. And Magnus Bradbury gets his first try.
He's a really good ball carrier, isn't he? Bradbury's a really good ball carrier. He's got presence, he's big, strong.
He's a hard man to put down. He's another man who there'll be bigger players in the back row, but he's tough, he's hard, he's explosive with the ball. But it's great to see that instead of just running blindly towards the line, he had that late movement just to the edge, just to the shoulder of the outside centre, Doug Fraser. And it means you're carrying that little bit of space with all your power. You can drive through the tackle and score the try.
That was Bradbury's first try for his country. And Kinghorn, on his third cap, is charged with the kicking duties, and he's got a good kick too.
Yeah, he's an excellent talent, really good goal kicker as well. Blair Kinghorn, he's an exciting player, desperately quick. And he'll be looking, this is a point in the game going into the last 20 minutes. Look how slow the Canadians are. They've done this in the first half as well, getting to halfway. And this is the part of the game where Blair Kinghorn will want to get his hands on the ball and run at these tired defenders and really try and punish them.
The Canadians kick off. Underneath it was Mark Bennett, didn't quite take it, knocked on. Scrum to the Canadians.
There's a slight frustration. The last two kickoffs that Scotland have received, they've knocked on or certainly turned over. So it's something to work on ahead of the USA next week. The USA at the moment are seen as a stronger team than Canada. I suppose in the recent past, the Canadians would be kind of deemed the stronger of the two, but the USA under Gary Gould's leadership are a sterner, or seen as a sterner
they're signing
test.
more players, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're signing more American football players. They've got a big sevens program they're trying to get through.
Bind. Set.
And that's Rory Jackson in at centre.
Yeah, I've given Adam Hastings at 10. Jackson back at the sin bin as Phil Mack darts up the left-hand side.
Taken down by Price. Pick and go by the Canadians. In goes Olmsted, Evan Olmsted. Big second row, normally a back rower, as I said. There he goes, picking the ball up, aided by Ray Barkwell. And 19 points of a gap. Again, these Canadian forwards will be nothing if not abrasive and constructive at the same time. Wider by the Canadians, knocked on, and the referee blows up early for the knock-on.
Yeah, similar to the first half, isn't it? But Canada looking for the direct route, but it's so close to the ruck. It's one out runner. There's not a lot of movement off the ball. There's not a lot of deception. And this is the end of it as Blevins tries to come in the cut, but you can see the Scottish defensive line's already moving forward. It's putting the pass under pressure. and it's quite comfortable. He's a direct runner, he's a hard runner, Nick Blevins, but he just didn't get the time there to execute the cut play. But you know, the Canadian attack is quite basic, but Scotland's defence is in good position. But there's not a lot of movement off the ball from the Canadians.
No.
Crouch.
Well, the weather's been unpredictable. Scotland have been fairly predictable. You know, they've kicked a bit, but they've mostly gone through their shape, which is 9 to 10 runners. And there's Price. Scrum dominance is key, isn't it? Because if you get to move forward, you get the penalty. Price will get the penalty. He'll go quickly. He does. Adam Hastings. Hastings gives it to Jackson. Jackson pulls the defender in, gives it to McGuigan. McGuigan kicks through, kicked on by Hastings and Price. There's Hastings up, misses the tackle. And the Canadian scrambling defence. It's that man, DTH van der Merwe. He's an incredible player. Penalty to Scotland.
He's so difficult to put down, isn't it? Ali Price is away quickly.
Quickly by Price. He's tackled well.
Yes, wide. Counter knock is good.
And it looks like another head knock there to Bergen. He's not happy on the left-hand side. The Canadians trying to run it from inside their own half. Mack to Olmsted. Out along the backs to O'Leary. Good defence. Was that young Gavin? Young Adam? No, it's Rory Jackson. Jackson, he seems to have hurt his shoulder. And Rory Jackson came flying out the line. Mack calls for his players to come up. Harris tries to disrupt.
Yeah, Phil Mack's going to pump the ball up in the air and try and get a decent chase. This could be a good opportunity for Scotland to counter-attack. The chase is very poor on the right-hand side for Canada. Hastings feeds the ball back inside to Price.
Gives it to Price, gives it to McGuigan. McGuigan to Mark Bennett. Bennett stepped on the afterburners. Did he get the ball away? Did it go forward? McGuigan doesn't look happy.
Well, he wanted to pass, didn't he? He wanted to pass back inside before the contact. I must say, whoever the Canadian defender was that made the tackle on Bennett was an outstanding tackle. This is a counter-attack. They knew the space was on the outside. Price linking well with Hastings. Barry McGuigan's looking for the ball back from Mark Bennett. It's the next cover tackle that comes in. It's Fraser. It's Fraser who makes the tackle. I'll have another look at this as Simon Berg and Stevie Much almost get a pass, but Souder gets beaten on the outside. That's a fantastic tackle there. I'm not sure Bennett could have gotten that away. He was committed to go for the line. And just as the ball moved forward, Barnagan picks it up. We see Bergen still getting treatment in the back. Quality counter-attack from Scotland. So many of your opportunities come from loose kicks or from counter-attack. That wasn't a bad kick by Phil Mack. Slightly too long, but what let the Canadians down was a kick chase. And you could see right away that Scotland had worked hard to get some width and attack that space on the outside.
Another couple of subs. Come on, big moment. There's young Lewis Carmichael, number 19. Let's just watch this rerun. We're not in charge of the pictures, but you talk us through this cover defence, because he beats the first man.
Mark Bennett does really well to get outside Souder, and then that's a fantastic tackle. I don't think Mark Bennett does anything wrong there, really. He couldn't get the pass back inside to Byron McGuigan because he was committed to going for the line. And that's a fantastic tackle to see by Doug Fraser.
Give me shoulder, all right?
Byron McGuigan, you see on the left, still not happy.
He wanted the pass. Well, on the tight head now is Murray McCallum for his second cap, 117 kgs, big, strong player.
Opportunity for Scotland here to really put the Canadian scrum under pressure. Don't give them an easy option to get out of this corner.
Yeah, not the front row they started with either. Scotland tried to put them under pressure. Back it comes to Hassler, Jeff Hassler. Mack shepherds these big forwards for the block, sticks it onto his right foot, wants another defender.
Use it, Red. Stay back.
Another high kick by Phil Mack, well taken by Byron McGuigan. If they move this ball to the right, we could have a similar circumstance, but it's Kinghorn who decides to take the direct route, places it back. Ali Price quips it away.
Denton into Noah Barker. Scots keep the ball. Hastings longer ball to Jackson. Beautiful little offload to Bennett. Bennett loses the ball in contact. The Canadians have scrappy play.
Well, it's DTH van der Merwe again who managed not only to make the tackle on Bennett, but to dislodge the ball. And that's Theo Souder, I think, that's on. Yep. And the number 23 jersey kicks long again to Scotland.
As you say, these are counter-attack opportunities. Here's Kinghorn with all that leg length. Oh, that could be a penalty just for diving in on the ball by Ali Price.
21 blue.
Yeah, 21 blue, just diving off his feet in from the side, and it's exactly what the Canadians wanted. You can see again that they're really tired. I think it's the right thing for Scotland to do, to attack these loose kicks, but they've just got to get bodies to the breakdown, make sure that you're not carrying into heavy traffic, trying, as I did before, get the ball to the edge, get on the outside of the chase line, and keep attacking the ball at pace. There's another substitution for Canada coming up. 20 minutes to go.
Do you know, I wonder if we've been unkind on Canada, because they've not really created many opportunities, but they've got bite, haven't they? They've got dog in them. They've got good forwards. They've got good backs. They've played well,
and they haven't had a lot of possession. So they've almost done it the hard way, sticking in the game, scrapping held up over the line twice. Rudy Jackson, obviously, that try disallowed by another last-ditch tackle from Phil Mack that time. So they've got to fight. You're right. And they're a physical team. They're putting more pressure on at the breakdown now. They're making it more difficult for Scotland.
Tap back. Didn't look straight from where we are. Mack has it, the veteran, and he's made some easy ground. The Scots aren't committing to the ruck. Taken up to Dobravsky. Dustin Dobravsky's in there. So is Cole Keith, who's on off the bench. And again, we'd just like to tell you, we don't supply these pictures if you're wondering what's happening. Oh, that's a good tackle. And it's a penalty. I mean, it's really good defence.
Really good defence. There's 3 tacklers involved in those 2 tackles. The first one was Lewis Carmichael putting a really big tackle in, and then the youngsters, Murray McCallum and Jamie Ritchie, working in tandem in a double tackle, stopping the momentum. There's Lewis Carmichael getting up early doors, putting O'Leary down, and then as it recycle the ball, coming in the corner, watch this for a collision. Boom. Jamie Ritchie, Murray McCallum, good tackle, disrupting the ball, winning the turnover. Excellent.
It's great, isn't it, when you see the next generation? I mean, a young player like Lewis Carmichael, 6'5", 112 kgs, North Berwick High School player, first cap, smashing into Canadians.
He's really athletic, Lewis, as well. Played at Melrose. He's very skillful with the ball in hand. He
played in South Africa.
In Australia, at Western Force as well. Just a bit of time over there, and just to help his development. He's really comfortable in the ball. Plays second row and back row.
These mauls are good, aren't they? This is Turner off the back, and Turner just pins his ears back. Again, the Canadians don't really tackle him, and Scotland then up in front of the posts. A couple of players stuck well behind. Hastings loops it round. Hastings dances, hands off. Hastings up within a couple of meters. Scotland then very, very close to the try line. Up is called Carmichael, and a couple of them go in. Price looks, digs deep, calls the forwards up close. Taken up by Gilchrist, has Batty in the van. Denton Shepherds. Price says, go round the corner, you lot. Gives it there to, I think it's McCallum, Murray McCallum. McCallum smashes his way up towards the try line. Price wants the ball quickly, and he gives it. This time to Bradbury. Bradbury rides the first tackle. And Price is there again. One pass, penalty advantage. Price thought, gave it to Gilchrist. Gilchrist has Ritchie with him. Scotland keeping the ball intelligently. Far too strong for the Canadians at the moment. It goes wide off Hastings. Hastings nearly in for a try. He's half a metre short. Price is there. Price has men to his left. He goes to his right instead. Gives it to Carmichael, is it?
It's Murray McCallum.
Or is it Murray McCallum?
It's
Murray McCallum. That is a brilliant little try. The big prop just came onto the short ball, and that is Scotland. Well, they're just easing ahead.
Yeah, it's a 5th try. Really well worked again by Scotland. There's cohesion in where they're trying to attack. They're working the same way. Murray McCallum carried 3 or 4 times in that phase. This is his final carry off Ali Price, back against the grain. Gets low and hard at the line, gets underneath Noah Barker's challenge, and gets his first try for Scotland. Patient build-up, good work rate. Hastings was pulling the strings, took on the sliding defence there, did well to recycle the ball. There's an important clear out there by Chris Harris to make sure the ball is available to play, and then from there, there's a bit of communication between Murray McCallum and Ali Price, and Murray McCallum gets his try.
We are. It is strange, isn't it? All of a sudden, you're watching the next generation. Aren't you? You go on a tour like this, you don't know what you're going to see, and you see a bunch of youngsters stepping up because that's the next generation. Some of the players are injured or maybe watching this back at home, but the likes of McCallum.
Well, Manny got his first cap in Wales this year, and he was a big part of the under 22 years ago. Manny McCallum in the front row, plays loose head and tight head. Lewis Carmichael in front of him as well, just both under 20 a couple of years ago. Come through the academy system at Scottish Rugby, and then when they do step up, it's not as if they're trying to find their feet. They're comfortable, they're coming in, they're making an impact and doing really well at the top end. I think we're having a look at that clear out. Matt Heaton looks at the referee, he's like, are we going to have a look at that? We'll have a look. I'm not sure if
are they pulling this back for this?
Yeah, so neck roll.
Neck roll. Neck roll, that's a neck roll. That'll be the try chalked off.
Are you happy with that? Yeah, thank you. Number 30.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we can hear the referee talking in the background, Mr. Kobu.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be chopped off for the neck roll. You can't go near the head or neck.
No. Try cancel. And give me experience. Yep. Yeah, so last one is a neck roll, but I took advantage your number 2 red off feet, so I'm going to back original advantage. Try cancel the backhand advantage. Thank you.
So we're going back for the penalty. Scotland were playing a penalty advantage. Manny McCallum's try has been chalked off. I think that's right. The Chris Harris initial clear out was round the neck. He realised that. He then tried to kind of remedy the situation. But it was contact with the neck. It was a twist. So the try is chalked off. We go back for the original penalty. Scotland have another opportunity to catch and drive. Manny McCallum will want to find himself at the back of this maul with the ball in his hands, I assume.
McCallum, Bradbury, Denton, Gilchrist, but it goes to that man instead. It goes to Carmichael. Carmichael took it. At the back is George Turner. Turner has, that is a real bit of speed. These mauls have been devastating. That is Scotland's 6th try of the evening. And Canada have no response, do they?
No, the maul's been outstanding all evening, hasn't it? The speed at which that was driven over the line was exceptional. And don't forget, there's A new players, but there's B players off the replacements bench, filling into the system, fitting perfectly, working the ball to the back. Once it's at the back, the drive comes on as one. And George Turner gets his second. It's very seldom you see a maul being attacked and being driven at that pace. Canada keep adding bodies, but Scotland are on the way forward. Scotland's 5th try, George Turner's 2nd.
Oh, thank you.
And really well executed.
Good play by the Scots. They keep picking out Bradbury's. If he scored the try, it's actually George Turner. And they had the try disallowed, so that's Scotland's 5th try. Turner then 2nd try of the evening, and he's made a bit. You said beforehand that he will make a big impact, and he has.
He has. He's a really abrasive character, tough tackler, really good over ball. Plays a lot in the back row. Played a lot in the back row as a youngster as well. But his set piece work's been outstanding since he's come on. You know, the maul was good. Fraser Brown was operating well in there beforehand. George has continued that, and that maul has been a big weapon for Scotland this evening. Just missed the right, I think, the conversion from Blair Kinghorn. 12 minutes to go. And I think this is where we'll see, we keep saying it, but the effort and the commitment that Canada had to put into the first half hour of this game, I think will tell.
It is interesting, isn't it, that in rugby, the good teams win in the last, usually dominate the last 15, 20. On's Luke Hamilton, I think. That's Luke Hamilton on at number 20, the Leicester back rower. Taken up by Bradbury.
Stay. Yeah, inside.
That's the second time.
Jamie Batty says.
The ruck before that, they had to go at each other, so they good tackle. Jamie Ritchie with the follow-up tackle.
Yep, that was a real smash. Up goes, it's been a cracking game actually, hasn't it? The longer it's gone on, the more enjoyable it's been. The weather's played its bit. Canada never truly in it, but a really good challenge.
They take a bit of beating.
Yep.
The Canadians are working hard. They don't have the pizzazz in attack. They've had more possession in the second half. But Scotland's
Very
defence
deep.
has been good.
Very deep, aren't they? Really deep back line.
Yeah, and Scotland's defence is coming forward as well.
Oh, Hassler's keen to get involved. Does well. He's a really good ball carrier. Still without a club. Knocked on. Chance for Scotland. Pick it up. It goes Ritchie. Ritchie to Hastings. Hastings is told to kick it. Does kick it, and Price chases, as does Mark Bennett, and DTH is caught very much on his own line, and he's put into touch. This will be a line out to Scotland, 5 metres out.
Mark Bennett's looking to take
Thinking
it
of going
quickly.
quickly. He's gone quickly.
Yeah, he's looking to take it. Again, really good defensive pressure from Scotland. They were able to come forward. Hassler's looked dangerous with ball in hand. You said it's such a powerful carrier. But then, as the forwards came round the corner, it was Lewis Carmichael again who got up, put pressure. Just being in the eye line of the attacker forced a mistake. And then between Murray McCallum and moving the ball quickly away from source, Adam Hastings put a kick in behind it, was well chased, and Scotland have another opportunity 5 metres out.
Do you know the beauty of Twitter is that Karen Kinghorn is saying that Diane Hastings celebrating Adam's first cap with a cuppa and cheering on our lads, enjoying the chat. Come on, Scotland. And people ask, it is an artificial pitch. You were saying that this pitch, you know, well done to all the lads getting their first caps, and we shouldn't gush over one player any more than the others, because Carmichael, the rest, they deserve it ultimately. But you were talking about nowadays, the players turn up and they're not fazed by these pitches, are they?
Most of the players train on them, and they certainly play often on them. So it's not a surprise. And if the players obviously train the day before on the field as well, so they know exactly what they're coming to, and they enjoy playing on them.
It's fine.
Taken by Gilchrist. And Turner has again at the back. And Scotland, what, they've just under 10 minutes. Hat-trick for the hooker. Look at these mauls. Dan McFarlane will be sorely missed. It looks like another try. It looks like another try. It is. And that could have been Luke Hamilton.
Well, it's George Turner and Luke Hamilton, I think,
They'll be scrabbling over the ball.
It's George Turner.
Is it? Whoever comes up last, it looks like Turner delighted. So the hooker's got a hat-trick. And you don't often hear that.
No, it's very similar as well, isn't it? And don't underestimate.
Could cost them a fortune.
Exactly. The control that's needed to do that. You know, working the ball to the back, and then the cohesive power, the unity to drive forward. Canada are trying to disrupt that. They're throwing bodies into the side. Barkwell's going in underneath it. You keep the control there. And it's dotted down in the line.
Do you know, as an old forward, what I like about that is that's a really well-constructed maul. Now, that's a well-drilled maul, and that's McFarlane. And he's away. There'll be somebody else coming in,
yeah.
But that's one of the things.
Carl Hogg's out there at the moment with the national team as well, as is Dan McFarlane, and they work hard at these drills, and they do it under pressure at training, so when the pressure comes on in the game, they know how to handle it. But there's a lot of technical elements to it as well. It's not all brute strength. They have to work together rather than individuals, and that work rate's paid off this evening.
Well, I mean, we can start. So we'll hear from Andy and from John Barclay in a minute. But let's start thinking about this game, because Scotland definitely, Chris, came here with a plan, and the plan was, let's not be too fancy. Play your shape, kick the ball if you have to, dominate scrums, use your mauls.
Yeah,
it's been a good evening's work.
The building blocks are the set piece, and the set piece have been one of the strengths of this evening. Some really good individual performances as well. One or two rusty elements, which is understandable early on, but they've capped 4 new players who've looked comfortable, have made a big impact on the field. Hopefully the injuries aren't too bad, and it looks like you're going to come away with a healthy victory as well.
That's a long kick. It's gone over the dead ball line, and it'll be a scrum way back from where it was kicked.
Yeah, it'll be an attacking scrum for Canada. They'll be glad of that. But again, I think this is an opportunity for Scotland to really turn the screw. Although it's, the Canadians have the put in, I think Scotland you can still attack this and make it really difficult for Canada. Don't be submissive. Don't let them off the hook too easily, because I think the Canadians are, they're certainly exhausted, most of them. And Scotland have dominance in the set piece, dominance in the scrum, dominance in the line. I think we should attack this and try and win the turnover.
They'll try and put some pressure on this scrum for sure. There's Hastings in the background, Kinghorn.
Set.
Luke Hamilton with that shock of blonde hair on this side of the scrum at wing forward. The Canadians hold the scrum. Can they get this out? The Scots have wheeled it.
No,
And it's a penalty to the Canadians. Taken quickly by Mack, the veteran. Lays it off to the back row men, and this is the centre. It's Blevins. Canada very much in the van. That was good tackling, though, by the Scots defenders. And Canada then, what, 15 metres out?
Yeah, as Luke Hamilton came through, put a lot of pressure on Mack, but the Canadians are keeping possession, working the same way in attack, picking and going. Luke Campbell, he's carried hard for his side this evening. And then Phil Mack will try and control this, allow time for the backs to get set up on the left-hand side.
Mack wants his forwards to protect. He looks up, he has O'Leary outside. The hooker, Barkwell, is one of those ploughing on. Again, more direct running. And they certainly taken the short route, aren't they? This is Blevins. Blevins it was. Kicked through by O'Leary. Kicked back by Price. The chase is on. It's a fly hack. He's missed it. Jackson, or was it? Jackson seems to have done himself a mischief. Wider play by the Canadians. Good play it is too. Out to the big man, Evan Olmsted, but he has to watch it go into touch. Hastings will try and take it quickly. He does.
Yeah, he's in front of the mark. Yeah, the scrappy piece of play that, wasn't it? Yeah, the scrum penalty. Phil Mack took it quickly for Canada, and they made a bit of ground initially, but then Scotland were able to regroup. Murray McCallum with a really good tackle in the midfield to force the kick from O'Leary under pressure from Jackson and Bradbury. Jackson almost probably pulled his hamstring there, almost having a swing and a miss at the bubbling ball, and then from there it was scrappy.
Another ball by Scotland. Gilchrist taken up by, this is Luke Hamilton, number 20, and Turner with a slightly loose ball, rescued though by Hastings, taken up by Harris. Harris is helped by Kinghorn. Kinghorn thought about the neck roll. And the back it comes from Price. Price to Turner. Turner spins it out the back to Hastings. Hastings tries to get halfway through. He's tackled. Scott's flying into these rucks, looking for more tries. Good read by Harris. Gives it to Bennett. Mark Bennett up over the halfway line, up to the Canadian 22. Look up to Bradbury. Bradbury again to Hastings. Hastings to Jackson. Jackson to... He's been everywhere, Turner, hasn't he? Gilchrist tried the offload. Miracle ball doesn't work. The Canadians then, could this be them on the counter-attack? Kicked on by Carmichael. And again, let me just explain, we don't supply the pictures. If you're wondering why they're sometimes behind and low, it's nothing to do with us.
There's another scrappy piece of play, wasn't it? Wasn't quite sure what was going on.
No, we can't see.
Jamie Ritchie there. He's been a captain through the age grade systems. He's a good leader.
Played well, eh?
He's played well. He's tackled well. He's been disciplined in his performance, and you can see there the leadership quality. Still asking the referee and being calm, having a good manner about him. He's certainly a leader. Also young, his first cap. He'll be a leader for Scotland and Edinburgh going forward. And
what they've all done too, all the youngsters have come on. They've played. No one's in their shell thinking, oh, I've never been capped before. You look at them all from. James Lang played well before his HIA. You had is it Jamie Ritchie's first cap? He's played well. He's been everywhere. You've got Lewis Carmichael. He's come on the pitch. He's battering things around. And you've got young Adam Hastings. They've all played well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I think it's really important that the way that Gregor Townsend trains the team, it's all very inclusive. They all work really hard at skills. They're all given equal opportunity to develop their skills, to play in the system, to train in the system. And that's all, cleverly planned, so when they are ready to step up, they do come in and make a difference. It's not as if they feel inferior or they don't understand what's going on. They all have a really deep understanding and physical experience of training under pressure, making decisions at training that can help them prepare for the game. But all the new caps have done tremendous well. And look down, George Turner's only got a couple of caps. Manny McCallum only had one cap prior to this as well. So not only the first cap guys, the other guys who've had single-figure number of caps, Byron McGuigan, Chris Harris, have all made an impact. Blair Kinghorn. It's great to see, as you say, the next generation coming through.
Bigger test next weekend, I think. But for now, it's been pretty impressive. DTH Van der Merwe, he's the key man. He's had to come in short for that one. Looks up to Mack, looks up to Again, that front row cohort, they try and smash over the line. Olmsted, the big second rower. And there's DTH not happy. I thought he did something, didn't he? Look at him down at the bottom of the pitch. DTH van der Merwe wasn't happy when he went into contact. And the play will be wandering around him. It's a turnover ball. Bradbury long and deep to Kinghorn. Kinghorn, that long stride of his. And up by Turner, gives it to Hastings. Hastings spins it to the right. The Canadians are down a man. Bennett will be eager to impress. Just keeps it. Bennett with a little handoff. Makes a good 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 meters. Price. Oh, what a break. What a break by this big second row, Lewis Carmichael. He flew onto that. The big North Berwick High School player, he flew onto that ball, and that is some try.
Well, it's a brilliant try by Lewis Carmichael. We said before, he's comfortable with ball in hand. This is two young players working in tandem. Magnus Bradbury pulling the defence on, sliding across the field to encourage someone to hit the line. It's Lewis Carmichael who puts his hand up. The time and the execution of this is brilliant. Targeting the space between the defenders. Not only targeting the space, but accelerating through it as well.
Look at his leg stride. He's got one of these really powerful.
He's powerful, he's
he
comfortable
runs
in the
off
back
his toes,
row.
he's got a long stride.
He's an outstanding player. Absolutely delighted for him to get a try in his first cap.
There we go. Lewis Carmichael on his first cap gets a try. Less than a minute left. Thank you for watching this, and the boys will have all the analysis. It's converted. It's Scotland 48.
Time off, please.
8, yeah, Canada 10. And come on, your summation is that's a shame. DTH van der Merwe not too happy. He's going off.
Hope everybody's injuries are okay. But my summation, I think Scotland did really well. It's difficult to play an opening game and tour away from home against a physical team. You haven't played for a lot, for a good few number of weeks. You've got players joining the squad at different times depending on their club commitments. It's a blustery day. It's been wet as well. You're under heat and humidity, so you add all these things into the mix. Scotland have been impressive today, and I think they've been impressive because of the building blocks of their set piece and their execution of skill. They'll want to get better. They'll face bigger challenges, but it's a good start.
Is there room for one more? Here's that.
Again,
Oh,
Lewis
here he is
Carmichael.
again. There he is. That's Carmichael. What a, oh my goodness me. That is that is fantastic to see. That's Carmichael, who scored a try, making one of the breaks of the game. Out along to Jackson. Jackson to Bennett. Bennett just had half a metre outside him. Just manages to keep it. Batty's there in to structure it. Oh, up comes Harris. Harris, the longer pass to Gilchrist. Possibly one more try. Adam Hastings out along that far side to McGuigan. McGuigan stays on his feet. We are into extra time. Trucked up by Murray McCallum. Scots are enjoying this. The Scots are enjoying this. Up it comes to Ritchie. Ritchie is held up, but he'll get the ball back to Price. Looks up, he'll have Gilchrist with him. He pulls it in behind to Hastings, dips the ball onto Harris, does the little extra somersault to keep the ball. And that's going to be a penalty to Canada. And what will they do?
Yeah, just a penalty for that. More good attack, wasn't it, Lewis Carmichael? Rangy, athletic, handing off, looking to offload. Good support, but well done to Canada, getting back. Over 80 minutes, still putting their bodies in line to make it difficult for the Scots. One more penalty. Yeah. If he kicks this out, they'll have to take the line out and they'll have one more opportunity to attack.
Okay, well, it's one more chance for the Canadians, and they've tried hard, the Canadians. Let's give them the due, but even though they're hugely experienced, much more experienced than the Scots, they haven't had the likes of Bradbury, the likes of Carmichael. They haven't had those kinds of players.
Yeah, just a bit more one-dimensional, really, isn't it? And not being, critical. They've just, where Scotland have been that extra dynamism in their attack. Canada have been very direct, but it's been well matched by the Scottish defence.
Here the Canadians go, though. Up goes Matt Heaton, who is a bit of a nomad. He's played in England. He's played in France. He is, as I said, the CrossFit trainer, and the Canadians then flying into contact. Mack out to O'Leary to Blevins. Blevins has been very good in contact. He's always made ground. They've got a penalty advantage, which will be brought back. So this, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, what are they going to do now?
Well, it's a high tackle, so that I assume they'll kick to the line again. and then have another opportunity. Obviously nowadays, if you get a penalty, we said before, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, this would be the end of the game if you kick it out, but you're allowed to have your throw at the line out. Usually we'd have gone a bit, trying to go a bit deeper in territory, almost take a bigger risk there. It's a conservative kick by O'Leary. But Canada will continue to try and attack. The last attack actually was quite crafty, quite cute. They came back down the short side, found a bit of space through Theo Sauder, and we'll see what happens here.
3 minutes of extra time gone, taken, I think, this time by Heaton again. Down the short side, oh, he had Hassler on his inside. Carmichael's in there trying to ruin possession, penalty advantage. I can tell you, Chris Patson just ducks away to the left in horror.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, isn't it? It's 3 penalties in a row that, you know, if you're being critical, Gregor Townsend and the coaching staff will be frustrated by. You want to finish the game strongly, of course they're going to win the game, but 3 penalties in a row is it's never nice to see your team conceding them so quickly.
Canada 10, Scotland 48. Could there be one last twist to this match? Eric Howard throws in, lots of movement, interrupted by Jamie Batty, taken by Hassler, still looking for a cub. Hassler, as I said, have they got the ball? It comes back to Mack, looks up, he's got Howard waiting for it, there he goes. The replacement hooker, Eric Howard, does well. He's bottled up. Ritchie tried to strip the ball from Mack there, beavering away. Around the corner comes again. He's had a good game. Lucas Rumball, the big number 6, he's carried. Scots have, will they kick this out? They will do, and Blair Kinghorn kicks the ball out. And that has been quite a game. Scotland dominate, and Canada 10, Scotland 48.